Luin and his companions are very happy after defeating the second team and receiving food for 3 days, which they find quite satisfying. They are also pleased to receive fruits along with meat, which makes them very happy. Sedamalkiri feels delighted to see the food repeatedly and prepares to move forward by packing his bags. Meanwhile, he hears a loud explosion from behind, which seems to be coming from behind them, indicating a huge fire center. This momentarily startles Sedamalkiri. When they hear the sound of the attack, they immediately turn around to look in its direction, and in the distant sky, they see large flames flickering, and despite standing so far away, they can feel the heat from the intense fire. Sedamalkiri realizes upon seeing a place that it is the same place where Dalian's group was heading, which was a big group of about 10 people. Irene Prius tells him that the group's name is Bottleneck, and she also says that it's rare to find a wizard with this level of magical power. Sedamalkiri is greatly surprised to hear Irene's words, realizing that Dalian could reach this level in just 1 year. But Luin stands quietly, listening to their conversation because the thought of Doom Prime is still running through his mind, which he considers extremely powerful. After a while, they pack their food and leave from there to the place where they are supposed to stay. By the time they arrive, it's evening, and they realize that no other team has reached there before them. Luin tells Irene that they should relax for a while and then do some exercise. Sedamalkiri is completely oblivious to Luin's words because his entire focus is on food, and he is very happy just thinking about it. Luin shatters Sedamalkiri's happiness in a moment by refusing to let him eat meat right away because it could create a smell there. Sedamalkiri silently agrees to Luin's request, although he doesn't feel good about it. Irene silently listens to both of their conversations with wisdom. And she says, "How did you know, Luin? I mean, everything is going as Luin expected." But no one responds to her, and Luin stands quietly. After a while, they start analyzing the map again for their next planning, where Luin informs them about the central village, mentioning that it's the only base on the island that can accommodate a large number of people. He also considers the possibility that Dalian's team might go there too, and he believes that Doom Prime might also head in that direction. However, Irene disagrees with Luin's assumption because she thinks that Doom Prime may not go there considering it would be a reckless choice from his side, knowing about the largest joint team. Luin explains to Irene that Doom Prime will go there because organizing will be the best way to win alone. Irene doesn't quite understand his point, so she starts to frown. Luin clarifies to her that the biggest reason for Doom Prime to go there would be the kill points because they are added each time someone is eliminated. He further explains that if he were in Doom Prime's place, he would do the same. With a smile, he adds, "It's just what I thought about that I would do if I were him." But in Luin's mind, he believes that Doom Prime will do this because he wants attention from Flame King, and therefore Doom Prime has no choice but to be reckless. Irene calls Luin's strange behavior weird. Luin advises them to be careful as they are right in the middle of the jungle, and they could be attacked by another team at any moment. Irene is instructed to keep a lookout. Soon, night falls, and only the moonlight illuminates the jungle as everyone goes to sleep, with Irene keeping watch as planned. Luin is asleep when Irene quickly wakes him up with a voice. As soon as Luin wakes up, she informs him that someone is keeping an eye on them and has arrived. Luin immediately gets up quietly and peeks through the curtain where he sees a suspicious person monitoring them from behind the bushes, and so Luin asks Irene, "Did you check how many people there are?" Irene tells him that there's only one person and informs him that they've turned off their light magic to avoid light leakage. She also mentions that she doesn't think the person keeping watch knows they're there. Upon hearing this, Luin instructs Sedamalkiri to wake up, who was sleeping soundly and snoring, to stand guard while he quietly moves towards the door. A profound silence fills the air, and Luin quietly hides near the door. There, he hears no sound whatsoever, and the suspicious person slowly approaches their door. with only the sound of his footsteps echoing. Luin carefully listens to every step. And with just a hint of suspicion, he begins to think that this person might be Doom Prime. As soon as the suspicious person opens the gate and moves inside, Luin immediately grabs his collar and throws him to the ground, swiftly covering his mouth with his hand to prevent him from making any noise and calling his companions. Irene quickly arrives and uses her light magic to cast a gentle glow in the room, revealing that the intruder is Representative Calm Collies. Calm, caught by Luin, starts to panic and apologizes, explaining that he didn't mean to intrude. He just came to rest in the place. He assures them that if he had known they were there, he wouldn't have come to that location. Luin is skeptical of his words and asks him loudly if he's alone. Calm, with a trembling voice, confirms his statement with a nod. Seta Malkiri, moving the curtain slightly to look outside, checks if there are any other teams around and asks the same question to Collies. Luin also inquires about the whereabouts of the other 6 people with him. Collies informs them that they fell into Doom Prime's trap, revealing that they had made bold moves from the beginning of the match because they were a large group and had planned to ambush Malkin's group to achieve kill points. However, even before they could execute their plan, they encountered Doom Prime on their way, and because they were scattered in search of food, they became easy targets for Doom Prime. Upon hearing this, Irene's senses are heightened, and she asks, "Are you saying now that all 6 people fell into a trap by Doom Prime?" Collies explains to her that only one of their group members fell into Doom Prime's trap because they immediately prepared themselves to defend. He further elaborates that the real problem arose afterward when, upon hearing the explosion in Dalian, Malkin brought his entire team to attack them. Despite defending themselves fiercely, only 2 people, including Malkin, managed to survive and escape. However, their troubles didn't end there, as Doom Prime appeared again at the beginning of the fight and observed until it was over, secretly following them as they escaped after being injured. Luin listens to Collies' words attentively, considering it a wise move by Doom Prime. Collies, with a slight hesitation, asks them if they would consider accepting him into their team. Upon hearing this, Seta Malkiri acknowledges that despite being exhausted, Collies also has an excellent strategy. However, Luin denies Collies' request upon hearing it, but Irene doesn't quite understand, so she asks him why. Luin is suspicious of Collies, so he questions him about how he managed to escape. Upon hearing this question, sweat begins to bead on Collies' forehead, and he stammers, "What?" Luin then explains that if it were Doom Prime, he would never miss the opportunity to ensure Collies couldn't escape after being injured. Upon hearing this, Irene and Seta Malkiri slowly begin to understand things better. Seta Malkiri, therefore, asks Luin, "What do you mean?" Luin explains to them, outlining 3 possibilities: either Collies is lying, and Doom Prime deliberately allowed him to stay alive, or there is someone monitoring the situation from somewhere now. That's why Luin scans Collies using his player's eye, revealing that Collies' identity appears as unknown. Collies, upon hearing this, visibly panics, as it's evident from his expression. As soon as Luin sees that Collies' identity appears as unknown, he shouts in anger, "You are not Collies," and moves to punch him. Just as he strikes, they realize that he was a copy, transforming into an owl and flying away. Seeing the seriousness of the situation, Luin immediately tells them to leave the place as it no longer seems safe for them to stay there.